fucking Hype Town, USA.
Let's go, guys. Welcome again. It's Fourth and Long, your favorite part of Friday, my favorite part of Friday. I'm Nathan. I'm here with 4 of our 5 panelists. Let's see if I get this right this time. Nope, I still can't get it right. He's Jordan. He's Josh. He's Daniel Ship. Tamarcus Morgan is here. We're gonna party. Let's go. Tamarcus, what's good, my man? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat, guys. If you're watching at home, here's the deal. Tonight, energy way up. Chris Land not here, so when Grandpa's away, we're allowed to have as much fun as we want. All right. He's not here to drink. He's not here to drink Fireball. He's not here to drink Fireball. Okay, so that means we got to drink for him. All right. Let's go.
I can't.
Lieutenant Ship's on call tonight. So he's going to drink anyway. We're just not going to tell anyone. Listen, guys, we're going to have a lot of fun. We got a great show for you this evening. We appreciate everybody that tunes in with us each and every week to make this show as awesome as it is. We have another great edition of You Heard It from QB, live from the Rock and Roll Wood Shop. Well, not technically live, pre-recorded, but Paul Huber's going to check in with us from the Rock and Roll Wood Shop in Lebanon, Tennessee. And it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great time for sure. So, gentlemen, last week, great week for NFL football. Some interesting games. Bengals looked great. I'm feeling good about it. What do we think? What do we got on our minds this Friday evening?
I think that you should feel good about that until this week when they play Baltimore. And we'll see what the Bengals are really made of this week.
I think that Chris Land picked the worst possible time to puff his chest out about how much better Justin Herbert is than Joe Burrow, because the likelihood of Baltimore holding Joe Burrow's offense to 3 points, I think, is pretty low.
Yeah.
And even if they blow him out, I still don't think they're going to hold him to 3 points because you just don't see that in the NFL. So I think that we're all just going to shit on him all day to Sunday and probably Monday and throughout the week.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a direct comparison.
So remember that LA came in with the worst rushing defense in the entire league. And Baltimore comes in with a top 5 rushing defense. So that's where the aspect is going to be is, does Cincinnati catch on really quick after watching last week and go, oh shit, we got to have a game plan.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, they held Dalvin Cook in check, but Lamar Jackson's he's a different beast. Still, I don't care. It happened.
So great about Cincinnati. How about Dallas? What you guys think about Dallas?
Nah, moving on. We got a lot of games to get to.
CeeDee Lamb.
I'm just saying. I thought we were gonna. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Listen, I talk. CeeDee Lamb is the
DAK equals MVP.
I'm a big Dak guy. I'm a big Dak guy. CeeDee Lamb is very good. The Cowboys look really good this year. It's a great year to be a Cowboys fan. Hopefully, they can win a playoff game.
I talked about Dallas, about Kellen Moore on Load the Box this week because we were talking about potential head coaches.
Next Vikings
coach. 2022. Yep. And so I talked about Kellen Moore and how I was like, I mean, he's only been, calling plays for like 2 seasons, but still, the reason I like Dallas and I think they have a good shot of coming out of the NFC, New England wasn't letting Zeke and Tony Pollard beat them. And so Dak and Kellen Moore said, have you heard about CeeDee Lamb? Have you heard about this guy that we drafted last year? And then they threw the ball almost at will. Plus, they got Trayvon Diggs, so he's balling out.
Don't forget, they also have the number 1 tight end in the league right now.
It's true.
You name him?
Jason Witten.
Do you know his name?
Jason Witten.
Dalton Schultz.
There you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say somebody's gonna.
Hey, by the way, who's leading in pick'ems? I forgot. I just can't seem to remember. Anybody know?
I don't like this guy.
I forgot. Can you guys remind me?
I need somebody in Hope County, North Carolina, to go commit a homicide real quick, so that Mr. Ship's got to go into work and
Chris
he can
Lamb
get out of my ears.
See, I don't care who's winning though, because there ain't no championship belt. All there is a hot piece of fucking hot.
Not true. Not
Jerky.
true. Not true. But you're 2 weeks early on that conversation. So.
Okay. Well, we'll have that conversation in 2 weeks.
It would have been really cool to have this championship belt if, like last year, that'd have been fun to have.
Your Mickey Mouse championship, where I purposely tanked because I knew I was the only one that would actually do a hot chip on air.
Oh, stop!
Chris Land
get out of here
did
with that conspiracy
so bad
theory
last
bullshit.
week. He fucking no-showed the show tonight and tried to just tell Nathan.
Not true.
I just want the favorites.
Not true. He did not no call. It was a surprise anniversary trip that his wife booked, planned, and paid for with his money, and he's excited to be there. And he did send me a text that I want all the favorites this week. And I said, I'm not doing that because if I read a different line and pick the wrong team on a close spread, I'm not going to hear the end of it. So I made him pick every single game and he picked all the favorites. So
maybe the wife was just tired of him losing all of his money last week on It's So Money, and she decided to spend it before he lost it.
Well,
hey, he sent in that thing. He had a good week in DFS. He had a solid week in DFS.
yeah, he does. Yeah, he did fine last week in DFS. He did not do fine in Pick'em. So we know where Chris lies. But real quick, I want to give a quick shout out to our presenting sponsor, the Outlaw Jerky Company, hand homemade jerky out of the great state of Texas, USA. Bo Freeman does a great job. 25 different gourmet jerky flavors. It's the best beef jerky we've ever had. They've got everything from mild to burn your ass in half. We've got a bag here. I've got something to show everybody at home. Where the hell did it go? I didn't need it, I promise you. Here it is. So right here in my hands, I have a bag of jerky called... Now it doesn't have a label on it because their bags are normally bigger than this, but this is the Devil's Breath beef jerky from the Outlaw Jerky Company. This is 2 times hotter than the One Chip Challenge, okay? This is Carolina Reaper, it's ghost pepper, all the above. It is very hot. It's got flavor, but don't get me wrong, it's very hot. Now here's the deal. Whoever finishes last in the pick'em standings between us 4 plus Chris Land, who's not here this week, has to eat a small bag about this size of this hot jerky. So it's going to be interesting. Make sure you tune in all season to keep track of it. Last year, I had to do a 1 chip challenge on there. I nearly died, but I survived. It was, I saw the light for a second and came back from it. So it's going to be interesting. But big shout out, big props to the Outlaw Jerky Company, who supports our show and is our presenting sponsor. We appreciate everything, Bo and Paul, that you guys do for our show. And also, if you want to order some of their jerky, you can go find them at theoutlawjerkyco.com. We can find them on Facebook. You will, when we're making the picks, their logo will be up at the top of the screen, so you have something to reference to find them on Facebook. But please, 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 it's well-priced jerky. It's the best jerky you'll ever have. Please go check them out. And with that being said, we've got a segment here from Mr. Paul Huber, as he does every week. It's the You Heard It From Hubie segment, and we're going to watch that together right now.
This poorly produced video has been brought to you by the Outlaw Jerky Company. Get some.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another week of You Heard It From Hubie. And as you know, each week I always do a review of a beer, a whiskey, a bourbon, maybe even a seltzer from time to time. This week we're going to do something different. I'm going to try this peach schnapps, and I've been told that it is delightful. Alright, let's see how this goes. Bam, cheers, 4 Laps Down Nation, and here's to 4th and Long. Oh my God, that is vile. Holy crap, that's bad. Man, it has the name Jim Beam on it, but it tastes nothing like bourbon. Tell you what, let's get straight on, let's just get right to the chase. I rate this about a -4, as in 4 laps down. -4 on Jim Beam. If you like peach, more power to you, but dude, that stuff just sucks balls. Can I say that? Edit it out if you need to. Alright, so tell you what, let's move on this week on the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, Dak Prescott with a very impressive overtime win. He throws for 445 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a wild win over New England in overtime with a pass to CeeDee Lamb. Dallas wins this thriller, 35-29. Yes, Dak is back. All right, now the bad. Jared Goff. Man, I feel bad for this guy. He was traded from a good situation to a bad situation, and Matthew Stafford, the vice versa. So I tell you what, it was so bad last week. The Rams clearly got the better quarterback out of this. Last week, Jared Goff went 28 for 42, 202 yards, and a pick as they got rolled up by Joe Burrows and the Bengals 34-41. And Matthew Stafford is so looking forward to rolling back into Detroit and getting a win against his former team. All right, the ugly. The Chargers, who seem to be on the rise, they stumbled big time in a 34-6 loss to the Ravens. They only had 26 yards rushing and a total of 221 yards on offense. It was so ugly that Lamar Jackson only had 140 yards passing, and he threw 2 picks. And they still won. They totally own this game. But I tell you what, that rushing game in Baltimore, it's legit. All right, guys. Side note, congrats to Jacksonville for getting off the schneid with a 23-20 win over the Dolphins in our early bonus game this last Sunday when they played in London. Now, about those Lions, are they going to get off the schneid this week? We will find out. Thanks again for watching another episode of You Heard It From Hubie and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
I'm Hubie, and hey, I'm out of here.
So that was another great Chris Ferguson, he told me specifically, he said, I'm not going to be a homer and I'm not going to talk about the Titans. Hubie,
Hey, real quick,
yeah.
before we talk about football, those pit vipers are some of the sexiest fucking pit vipers I've seen in a while. So, congrats to you.
I'll second that. Those are some slick pit vipers.
Hey, listen, Hubie's got the game when it comes to the pit vipers. He learned from some of the best pit viper guys on the internet, that's for sure. But yeah, so I mean, first of all, can we talk about the spit take? All right, first of all, it's the lowest score Hubie's given anything that he's had. Second of all, I am stunned because I have seen that man drink some wild shit, including drinking liquor out of the thumb hole of a used bowling ball in his garage as a shot glass. Okay, it's the bowling ball shot. He's not brought it to 4th and Long yet, but I'm sure it's coming. To see him drink something and spit it out is absolutely shocking to me. But as it stands, I get it, right? That stuff doesn't sound any remotely good to me either. So I can't blame the guy. But yeah, he didn't say anything about the Titans, Chris, because he just, he doesn't want to be that guy. But the Titans, honorable mention for the good, the bad, and the ugly for sure. Gentlemen, let's do a quick rundown of last week. By the way, I do have to say, there is a guy that I work with. He is 70-something years old. He's been watching our show every week. You know what he said to me this week, Jordan?
What's that?
He said, I really like that guy. What's he do? He blows all that air around while he's in his room and he blows it all around. What's he doing? Is he smoking cigarettes out of that box? And I said, no, not exactly.
Well, I like that I have a new thing to call my vape because usually it's the douche flute, and now it is definitely the cigarette box.
The cigarette box, exactly. Exactly. So let's recap last week really quick and talk about the standings. Of course, Lieutenant Ship is still in first place. He's actually got honestly, his pick'em record is almost hard to believe. He's 60-28. Okay, that means for every pick that he's gotten wrong, he's gotten 2 right. Hey, there's Hubie. Hubie, you just missed your segment, man. We played it on time this week. He's used to coming in and then being like, "Hey, are we gonna play the segment?"
Hang on, let me ask something. Did you say he's 60-20?
60-28.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
gotcha.
It's just math. Tied for second is Jordan and myself with 53-35. Josh is 52-36, and Chris is bringing up the caboose 51-37. So that's a 7-game lead for Ship. Everybody else is kind of bunched up. It just is what it is. One of those things. We got a lot of season left though, so let's talk really briefly about the picks last week. As always, let's recap. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks where we all picked the same. Only 13 games to pick last week. As a reminder, we don't pick the Thursday games, obviously, because they've already happened. So that being said, 6 games we all picked the same. So it didn't matter who won or lost. We were going to end up being no worries, Hubie. I was just giving you shit, brother. And let's see here. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4 games where one person defected from everybody else. And
can we spell it Jaguars?
That wasn't one of them because me and you both picked that game.
Oh,
yeah, sorry.
Hey, I'm still happy.
Yeah, I am too. So, I picked Baltimore correctly. I was the only one. Chris was wrong and picked Carolina. Josh was wrong and picked Detroit. And I was wrong and picked New England, although it went to overtime, and that would have been a really awesome pick. Sounds good, Hubie. Thanks for checking in, brother. All right, boys and girls, ladies and germs, let's get into week 7 here.
Won last week.
Let's get into week 7 here. Yeah, Ship went at 11-2 last week, by the way. That's part of why he's 60-28. And the 2 games he missed, I think, were games that we all missed.
Chargers and...
Oh, yeah, I picked up one on you on the Chargers, and then the other one that was we all picked Buffalo, and they lost. So
Buffalo, that's right. Okay.
Yep. So, all right. So, first game this week. Let's jump into it here. The first game is going to be the game of the week. We're going to start off. Chris Land says I missed every game. You did not, Chris Land. You did not. So Chris Land's here in the chat. Everyone
Why is he on his phone? I'm going to call her and let her know that he's on his phone.
She knows. She knows. She's probably sitting at the slot machine. He's probably sitting there like a lost dog, like he always does. Listen, I was at the casino with this guy, and I was playing craps, and he was just standing there in the back drinking his Miller Lite, looking around like, I'm uncomfortable with the amount of money people are losing right now. It makes him sweat. So, First game this week. Baltimore hosts the Cincinnati Bengals. I think this is going to be a great game. I think most of the experts agree. What do our experts think? Jordan, why don't you start us off tonight?
All right. I'm going with Baltimore, although I think it will be closer than some of the other panelists may think. I think this is a game that Cincinnati needs to look good in for Zach Taylor's sake. They beat Pittsburgh. What does that mean when Pittsburgh's is not good as they are? I think this is a close one up until late. I'm going to give it to Baltimore by 10. Like, I'm going to say 35-25 or something. But I think it's like Cincinnati's in it. They need to stop late, and that defense just can't hold. Lamar Jackson ends up taking down, getting a touchdown drive, and that's all she wrote. So give me Baltimore in this one.
Fair enough. So you think this game is important, and we're going to spend a little time on this game. We only have 12 games to pick tonight, so we do have a little bit extra time, and Chris Land's not here to fill up his 45 minutes of airtime this week. We love you, Chris. We wish you were here. Have fun at the airport. So you think this game is important, Jordan, for Zach Taylor's job security in Cincinnati?
Yes, I do. And sorry, my camera's shaking. My dog's under my desk, like kicking a blanket, and it's shaking my whole life.
I was thinking you were having like an earthquake over there. I almost said category 4 hurricane, but then I realized you're in Ohio. That doesn't happen.
Not since 2012. But I think that Zach Taylor needs to prove that it's not just, like the bad teams. He can't just beat the Jacksonvilles and the Pittsburghs. I think fans of the Bengals are already kind of toning the gears on getting rid of him. They're not sure if he's a good coach, if he's a bad coach, if he's media. They don't know what he is yet because of the injuries and the rosters that he's had. So this is a game he needs to contend in. Otherwise, I think the chirping gets really loud about this team looks good. Imagine what they'd look like if we had better coaching, if we had someone that actually had because of the injuries and the rosters that he's had. So this is, LA's QB coach from 3 years ago. His quarterback was Jared Goff. What does that say? So, yeah, I just think I don't know. I think it's crucial for him to look good against good teams. Otherwise, what's he doing coaching an NFL team?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Ship, do you agree with anything that Jordan's saying there?
To an extent, yeah, but I mean, I don't think this hinges on win or loss because, like I said, the tide is kind of in the center right now with the AFC North. That as long as I'm seeing competitiveness, because I mean, you got to remember, you came from it, Nate, with Marvin Lewis getting you to the playoffs, and then shit in the bed. So with that different mindset of, okay, if we have consistency, not just Andy Dalton throwing to Chad Johnson or TJ Hushmanzada, just getting it down there, having consistency on both sides of the ball to actually be competitive. And it may take some time, but I don't see this as a hot seat button in any instance of it. I still think they are ahead of schedule as far as I don't want to say rebuilding, but retooling, letting Joe get a full season under him where he's not concerned about the knee. I mean, he looks comfortable with the knee brace on. From everything I've seen, he doesn't look like he's cringy. He's not nervous in the pocket. So I'll go with that. But and I'll bring them back since I know you guys missed me for my stats last week. So it's kind of interesting. Um, Lamar Jackson is 5-0. He is one of 4 quarterbacks in NFL history that is undefeated versus the Bengals with a minimum of 4 starts. And Joe Burrow is 0-3 in his career as a starter versus fellow Heisman winning quarterbacks. He's 0-1 against Jackson already. So the Ravens are 5-1 for the second straight season, 4th time this franchise season. The last 2 times they won Super Bowls, apart from last year. Uh, it, it's up in the air, but the fact that Baltimore is doing this with guys like Latavius Murray, Le'Veon Bell, Devonta Freeman, guys that were on the shelf at the beginning of the season that nobody wanted, and he's still making them look like top-notch running backs is impressive to me. Give me Baltimore.
So it's interesting that you have a little bit of a different take there than Jordan. So Jordan thinks this game is crucial to Zach Taylor. It sounded, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, it sounded to me like you're saying that the nails are already maybe halfway driven through the coffin. Is that kind of what you're implying, or are you downplaying the significance of this game?
Absolutely. It's not downplaying the game itself, but downplaying the pressure being on the game. I mean, we're going into game 7 of this season. He had his first full year last year, but he didn't have his franchise quarterback for a lot of it because of the ACL. So if you're the ownership, do you go, okay, well, you had, 3-4 games with Joe and we'll give you a season this year. Well, okay, we're going to let you go. I mean,
he also had an Andy Dalton yell, didn't he? He had Andy Dalton.
Please don't bring that. It doesn't matter.
But his reference was your franchise quarterback that you brought in. You had a half a year with him.
Okay, all right.
And then it was a shortened and a weird off season with COVID and everything.
Correct.
You didn't have your OTAs. You were doing Zoom meetings. And I've heard a lot of analysts talk about, not to just kind of jump in and steal the thunder here, but I've heard a lot of analysts talk in, and it's like, what does that show of the leadership qualities that Joe Burrow possesses? Because he's gained that locker room and earned the trust of those guys over a Zoom meeting or over a Discord meeting. They're not in the locker room. He's not out on the field. First one in, last one out, putting all the work in. Like, this is over a Zoom meeting, and he's earning the respect of these NFL players that have been in the league. I'll go ahead and give my pick on this. I'm with Ship. I also agree that I don't think this is a make or break game for Zach Taylor. I don't think it's a division game. It'll be a good game. I also think Baltimore is going to squeak it out. I think Cincinnati is a lot better than people expected them to be, me included. Like Ship said, they're ahead of schedule, and as far as the season goes, I mean, right now they're second place behind Baltimore. So, well, this is going to be a good test for the Bengals to see where they're at. Yeah, you can play against Aaron Rodgers, and it goes down to the missed field goal fest there at the end of the game. Yeah, you can beat up on the Lions. This is really going to test who the Bengals are and what kind of grit they have. I will not be shocked if the Bengals come out and just rout Baltimore. But I mean, in the pick'em, I got to take Baltimore in this one.
Well, real quick, I think a wild card is a win for Cincinnati this year.
Oh, absolutely.
I think
without question.
I think that is a success, and I think it's in grasp. I think with Las Vegas being in the middle, kind of in topsy-turvy, LA they can win it if they want to. Kansas City in topsy-turvy, and this year with seven teams going, with 7 teams going, you're only going to get one team out of the AFC South. You're only going to get one team out of the AFC Central, AFC South and AFC East. You're only going to get one team from each of those. So that leaves 5 to split up against these 2 other divisions, which you take 2 and 2. It makes sense to me that your better shot is one team from each of those. So that is a wild card and it's a win. And by the way, if you get rid of Zach Taylor, who do you want to go for? Eric Bieniemy? Yeah, everybody's going to fight for Kellen Moore, but there's nothing else out there. And I like the way Zach Taylor works with Burrow. There's nothing else.
I'm not calling for his job. I'm not in a place to call for his job. I'm just saying I don't know a Bengals fan that liked the hire when they brought him in, and I don't know a Bengals fan that would say Zach Taylor's a good coach and wouldn't attribute every bit of the success that they're having to Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Like the offense is really good, and look, their defense has played, in my opinion, miles above what everyone thought it was going to be this year. I think everyone this year thought the Bengals were going to be a team that lost a lot of shootouts because their offense was going to do what it did, but then the defense was going to give up a bunch of points. I don't think this is a game that Zach Taylor's losing the job after the press conference. I just think you have to look good, one, against your division, which they beat Pittsburgh, but then it's the 2 Baltimore games and it's the 2 Cleveland games that if you don't perform well in those games and you come out and you lay a dud, you have to, look good against your division. I mean, the Lions are 0-6. They look good against the teams in their division. They're losing. Green Bay kind of went away with it in the fourth quarter, but they've looked good against the teams in their division, and that's why Lions fans seem pretty excited about Matt Campbell. I haven't heard a Bengals fan get excited about Zach Taylor yet. So but I agree with you. I think a wild card would be a huge success for this team. Honestly, I think finishing 500 and still losing above 500 and losing that wild card to Vegas would also be a win because you're in playoff contention. Go draft a defensive player or two and try and make the defense even better. But Nathan, I want to know who you're picking in this game.
So I think there's a lot that's been said here that is got a lot of truth to it. I think this game does matter in the long run for Zach Taylor. I think, obviously Mike Brown has turned over the general day-to-day management of the team to his daughter, but he's still pulling the strings and he's still been around a long time. So I think that at this point, the Bengals have kind of shifted their mentality away from the Bengals franchise of the 90s and early 2000s of profitability above anything else. And I do think the Bengals want to win. I don't think that a guy like Marvin Lewis gets nearly the leash today that he did 10 years ago. And I don't think Zach Taylor's going to as well. I think this game really does mean something for Zach Taylor's future, because this could be Zach Taylor's last season as the Bengals head coach, depending on how the rest of the season goes. However, they are trending it towards Zach Taylor keeping his job because they are outperforming every expectation that anyone has set, period, by and large. So for the most part, I think this game does matter. But to Ship's point, I don't think it's a make or break game for Zach Taylor either. But if he wins the game, it can get him winning this game alone, regardless of what happens, could potentially get Zach Taylor a lot of consideration for a contract extension. Not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying these are the types of games historically that the Bengals have never had a shot. I can remember the only time the Bengals upset a very, very one of the best teams in the NFL when they were not one of the best teams in the NFL. It's when the Chiefs came into Cincinnati undefeated and we beat them, and the Bengals won like 3 games that year. I think that might have even been the year before we took Carson Palmer. That's the only time in history I can remember, as a 32-year-old individual. So this game is huge. That being said, I think Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens are streaky. I don't think they've put together consistent performances back to back. However, they are a better team than the Bengals. They are the better team. The question is, do they play like it? The Bengals have heart. They've got a lot of soul behind their play. And I think it's going to keep this game close. I think that anybody that takes the Ravens to cover a 6.5 point spread, just bring your money to my house and give it to me. I'll take it because you're losing it. You're throwing it away. I think the Bengals win a close one. I'm going to say less than 7 points, but I do think the Bengals win this game. And I think that they win it behind the grit and determination of a guy like Joe Burrow to come out and prove that he can be and is on his way to being an elite quarterback. And by the way, Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Justin Herbert, and that's all I'm saying. And as far as the knee braces go, Stone Cold Steve Austin won 2 world titles with 2 knee braces on, so I think Joe Burrow is going to be just fine.
I have to ask, at what point, and this is kind of more of a philosophy question of the NFL, at what point, if we think a team is bad in the offseason, do we stop saying oh, this is going to be a massive upset if the Bengals win, and we just start saying, okay, yeah, the Bengals are a good team playing Baltimore, who is probably a better good team. When do you guys Ship and Josh?
Nathan, you're not muted.
No, he is in the chat. He's just not in the Discord.
Why don't you let me run this show there, little bud, and you sit there in your chair and play your on your
threw
phone.
me off a couple weeks ago too, but
I
yeah.
know.
So like, Ship, I want to know like what you think about it, because you know a thing or two about football. Dale, Mister like only picked 21 games or whatever it is. So when do you make that call? Can you make it 6 weeks in, or do you wait until 10 weeks in?
I'm sorry, I was listening
You're
to
good.
Josh.
So it's as far as like, when do we start looking at the Bengals as like an actual good team rather than a bad team that's just overperforming expectations?
Okay, so I don't think it's a time frame thing. I think it's a consistency thing, and that's where I echo back to: are they able to put consistent games on the field? Now, granted, wins or losses to me, yeah, they're imperative in records, but performance is the biggest thing to me. Is Joe Burrow going out there and completing a high percentage of passes? Even if he's throwing the long ball, is he completing percentage? Is he not risking the ball by throwing interceptions? How is Joe Mixon running the ball? Is he holding on to it? Is he not fumbling the football? How's the defense? Are they limiting rushers, to a certain amount of yardage? So when I look at that, and I look at Cincinnati, and I don't want to say it's an upset right now. Now, Detroit beats LA, upset. I'll say it. I'm sorry. Dan Campbell says, Jared Goff got to get his head out of his ass. But
I think Tennessee beating Buffalo, upset.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I think that was an upset.
Yeah.
With the way the Buffalo,
good
way the
teams can
Buffalo's been
upset
playing,
other good teams.
but the way that Tennessee has been playing, and the performance that Tennessee put on the field 2 weeks before, and then the performance that we saw against Buffalo with some elite defense, I think that was a legitimate upset.
But what's the Bengals' record right now? They're like, what are they?
So they're 4-2.
The Bengals are 4-2.
They're a kick away from being 5-1.
Listen, the Bengals are a kick away from being 5-1, and then on the other hand, they're a first down away from beating the Bears, who they're a better team than the Bears. If they get that first down there at the end, they go down and they score and they win that game. The Bengals are so close to being a 6-0 team right now. I think I'd almost rather them have a 4-2 record, because I don't know that they're as good as what a 6-0 record would say. But here's the thing: if the Bengals win on Sunday, it's an upset. Statistically speaking, they're 6.5 point underdogs. That's a fairly large line for the NFL. But here's the thing about this game is everyone's looking at this as Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson. I'm looking at this as whose defense plays better, okay? Because, yes, Lamar Jackson is significantly more of a threat on the ground, but they don't have a Joe Mixon. So he's both, okay? He's passer, runner, all of it. You got Burrow, you got Mixon. If you compare passing stats, okay, Burrow, not to steal your thundership, I'm going to throw some stats out. Burrow and Lamar Jackson are within 100 yards of total passing yards of each other, okay? Joe Burrow has, I believe it's 21 touchdowns to Lamar Jackson's 24. Shaking your head. What correct me here. I'm going off the noggin here. I don't have these notes.
Joe Burrow has a 70% completion rating. His passing and rushing yards per game is 264. He has 14 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Lamar Jackson has 346 yards passing and rushing a game, 9 touchdowns to 5 interceptions.
Are you sure those are updated?
I am positive those are updated.
I believe you. It just seems low. Yep, you're right. So
Hey, I just have to chip in here and just say, I think a big storyline that goes, and this is kind of the life of an NFL running back in 2021, not named Derrick Henry. Joe Mixon's having a pretty good year. Like, he's having a good year, and nothing helps Joe Burrow's case to be a good quarterback other than having a good running back and a half-assed decent defense to fall back on. So I don't know. I think there's a lot more to the story than just like Joe Burrow's healthy again. I think there's a lot more there.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, to get to what I was saying, is that if you look at their passing stats, Joe Burrow has an edge in most of the passing stats over Lamar Jackson. Part of it is because Lamar is dual threat. He's doing both. So I'm not saying it's that he's way outperforming Lamar. I think Lamar's in the MVP contention. I'm not 100% sure Joe Burrow's played his way into that yet. But the reality of it is you're going to get what you get from the two of them. Okay, it's whose defense steps up to shut down Joe Burrow, or does Cincinnati step up to contain Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson's going to drop 21 to 24 points if Cincinnati's defense plays really, really well. Okay, so can Joe Burrow come out and score enough to win the game? I'm convinced that he can and will, but it's definitely going to be a great game for sure.
Last two stats that I will give you that'll be probably the hingers. Defense, and you talked about it. The Bengals have allowed 25 points or fewer in each game this season. That is the only team in the NFL that has done that. And by the way, Cincinnati has 4 players in the top 10 for PFF defensive grades at their position with a minimum of 200 snaps. That's tied for the most. That's
Is DJ Uedo on that list?
Awuzie, Redder, Wilson, and Bell.
Dude jumps off the tape at you. I've watched 3 Bengals games this year, and every game they're zooming in on DJ Uedo's face because he is a playmaker. And I don't know, when did you guys even get him? Like, is he?
They stole Awuzie from us.
Yeah,
I know that, but I'm just saying, like, DJ Uedo to me, he's a game disruptor. We're spending a lot of time on this game, but like,
that's okay.
Golly, it's a good game to talk
start
about
with this game.
Yeah, and the thing,
it's the best game of the week.
Yeah, it's the best game of the week. There's going to be, of these 12 games, there's going to be probably 6 that we breeze through. And so Parker Hahn in the chat has a good point too. Who do the Ravens have that can realistically contain Jamar Chase, or are we starting to talk about he's already going to be facing double coverage? Is he that much of a threat? Because here's the thing, as deep as the Bengals are at receiver, if you're pulling someone else to cover Jamar Chase and double team him, now you've got a Tyler Boyd that's up against a linebacker. Now you've got, Uzama, who is out, who's playing like his hair is on fire this year. That boy wants to get paid. I was not expecting him.
I picked him up in fantasy.
I was not. We talk about Redder being an outstanding surprise for the Bengals. How about Uzama? Because coming in this offseason, I'm saying the Bengals need a tight end. The Bengals need a tight end. And they didn't take one, right? They didn't take one.
To answer your question, who do they have? I don't know who they have in the secondary. The answer is they need Calais Campbell, Yannick Ngakoue. They need to get home early. They need to make the Bengals feel bad for taking Jamar Chase. And they need Bengals fans to be like, man, maybe we should have taken Penei Sewell. And I don't know. The Bengals offensive line has been playing well enough that I don't know that you can do that. And that was kind of the conversation I was trying to have all offseason, and no one wanted to listen. Everybody wanted to say, oh, because Joe Burrow got injured, you had to take a left tackle. No, you don't. Super Bowl offensive linemen do not go in the first round. Statistically, they just don't. They just do not. So I don't know.
That's because the Patriots don't take offensive linemen at number 31 overall. But anyway,
I guess that's fair. But like, I don't know.
Injury report: Latavius Murray, Sammy Watkins not playing on Sunday.
That's such a big loss.
Jalen Davis and Tyler Shelvin from the Bengals are questionable. They still have Joe Burrow listed with his throat injury.
Yeah.
But Taven Young was a full participant today in practice. He's questionable. Patrick Queen was limited participant. He's questionable. Justin Houston, not show it. He's on the injury list with the rest is what they non-injury related. So that's what you got. Calais Campbell, by the way, did not practice on Friday.
So, I just held a defensive tackle and the scouting middle linebacker on that injury report. And already throw Joe Burrow's performance out of this game. Throw Case Keenum in that lineup and run the damn ball with Joe Mixon, and you're going to find success against that defense. If their scouting D tackle and their best linebacker is out, it just seems like that has to be the game plan going in.
Yeah, the Bengals, I think, do win this game. Like I said, I think it's a great game. I think it's close. I see it coming down like the end of a lot of Cincinnati's games this year. Last play, last drive, overtime. But I think the Bengals come out on top here because I think the Bengals feel like this is a game that they're not supposed to win, but will win. And I think they're going to come in and play that way. So I took the Bengals. Everyone else took the Ravens. So that's game.
Do what you got to do to catch up to me, bud.
That's game 1 of the week. Next game, a little less exciting. We've got a road favorite here. Carolina is favored by 3 points over the New York Football Giants. Ship, what do you got for us here, bud? And don't say Giants suck and that's it.
Oh, well, what frustrates me is that Carolina looked decent last week and they shit the bed in the fourth quarter.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
They dropped.
Came alive in the fourth quarter.
They dropped so many passes in that game.
Oh, Robbie Anderson doesn't know how to catch a football.
No, it wasn't just Robbie Anderson.
It wasn't.
Moore couldn't catch a ball. Their running back Hubbard couldn't catch a ball. Nobody could catch a ball. And I'm sitting here watching the game like, if these guys could catch a ball, we're down by 14. Like, easy. If they could just catch a football.
They didn't come alive until the fourth quarter.
They played the damn Vikings. Okay, get off the topic. I don't care about the Vikings. Stop. I hate the Giants. I'm going to go ahead and get on that. So look, the Panthers, they're 0-3 without McCaffrey. They're 3-0 with McCaffrey. DJ Moore can join Steve Smith as the only player in Carolina history, 500 receptions, 3 receiving touchdowns. Injury report, I'll have to pull it up because I'm pretty sure Saquon's out, Sterling Shepard's out, Kadarius Toney's out. Daniel Jones might be out of this game based on the way that, he barely made it off of a field a couple weeks ago against Dallas.
He's a gamer. He's going to be elite one day.
So here's a good stat for you. Sam Darnold, 61% completion rating, 260 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Daniel Jones, 62% completion rating, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So he's streaky, though. Sam Darnold has a 90-plus pass rating in each of his first 3 games. Then he's a sub-90 in his last 3. But fuck the Giants. I'm still going to say it. I hate the Giants, and there's no way they're going to win this game with what they have. At least Carolina has somewhat of a defense now that Gilmore should be back, I think, for them either this weekend or next weekend. I can't remember because he's on the PUP list. But give me Carolina in this one.
I think you have to take Carolina with how bad the Giants have played, and I'll try and keep mine brief. And all I'm going to say is, and this is shout out to Chris Land. This is his favorite stat. I hear him talk about it all the time. Off of the first read, Sam Darnold is ass. He's bad. He's the worst quarterback in the NFL. The only person that was even close last year was Cam Newton. That's statistically true. If you get him off his first read, he's bad. And the Vikings showed it on Sunday until until Patrick Peterson went down. And then suddenly his first read was getting open a little bit more, and they drove down the field and took us to overtime, and we scored a touchdown, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so I got to take Carolina just because of how bad and banged up the Giants are. But Nathan, I think you will.
I think that the Giants are a bad football team, and I think there's a lot you could try to say that this is going to be a good game, but I don't think at the end of the day it's going to be. Now, that being said, I don't think this is an easy pick for me, but it's not because Carolina's great. It's because the Giants have just really struggled to get their shit together. So I'm looking for Carolina to win this game. With a spread of 3, I think they cover. So if you're looking for a solid pick for a parlay, I think Carolina to cover at -3. What are you holding fingers up for, Ship?
Saquon Barkley did not participate. Kenny Galladay's out. Evan Ingram's out. Kadarius Toney's out. Darius Slayton's out. John Ross is out. Caden Smith is out. Sterling Shepard's out. And then you go to the defense. Danny Shelton, Ben Bredson, Sam Beal.
Did they confirm Ingram's out?
Yeah, he did not participate in practice at all.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so like I said,
are you using that for your fantasy team?
I have him in fantasy, yes, in one league.
Easy pick for me. I'm going Carolina. Chris Lane took Carolina as the favorite as well.
I have a Ship. Are you so bitter against the Giants because they've had so much more success than the Cowboys have over the last 25 years?
I just hate their jerseys, and they share a stadium with another team, so I just don't like.
You
them.
just don't.
They don't even play in New York.
They play in Jersey.
They're the New Jersey Giants and the New Jersey Jets. Okay,
I'll keep mine short and sweet as well. I'm going to take Sam Darnold and the Carolina Panthers over the New York Football Giants in this game. Carolina just has more weapons, looks better, and their defense is a pretty top-tier defense. So
hey, look for Chuba Hubbard to have another good game. I liked how he looked against
Minnesota.
Too. I did too. I picked him up, and he still gets 2 more weeks. But I like the way he played, so he could be a little sneaky play.
I'll take a backup running back. I had Chuba and I had Madison. So while Cook was out, that's fine. That's fine. Like, let Cook be out. I got Madison, and he ran all over Seattle, when he did. But
I have to throw this in as my final thought on this game, and it's ESPN or somebody tweeted something like 3 weeks into the season saying the New York teams are really struggling this team. They were combined 0-6, and like it was all the stats. And Buffalo quote tweeted it and said are the New York teams struggling because there's only one team that plays in the state of New York, and it's the Buffalo Bills, and we look pretty good because they just beat the Racism's 50-0 or something. So
I mean, team that allowed Patrick Mahomes' brother to dance on the 21. I don't want to talk about it.
Ship's very bitter tonight, guys. I just so you guys know. So, all right,
that's
so we all took.
It's something about having the on-call phone. I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
You never know when it's gonna go off.
Well, let's.
Hey, by the way, on the Facebook thing, does some of your some people like Chris Ferguson has a flag over his name? Is it in Spanish on yours, or is it just mine?
I don't see anything in Spanish.
Yeah, Chris. Yeah, it's Seguidar de Hito. and then Paul's got the Guidar.
The Guido.
Sounds like that's a you
That
problem,
was
Sound-
my
the
man.
most
Sound-
flawless Spanish I've ever heard spoken on the
Yeah.
first one, and then the second one you went "da Guido."
Yeah. So over Chris and mine, it says milestone follower.
Now it says it, but look. I will take a picture and show y'all while you talk. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Take that
Anyway.
on call. I had on call phones doing something to ship tonight, boys.
Yeah.
I was
Shut
gonna
up.
say.
Don't tell anyone that don't tell his CEO that he's drinking because he'll get in trouble. So next game, guys, I think is another easy one to pick. We've got Green Bay at home -8 against the Washington Racisms. Jordan, start us out.
We got to stop with the whole Green Bay. Oh, they got blown out week 1. They who knows how good they are. They're probably going to be in the NFC Championship game playing either Dallas or Tampa Bay. Like, I'm just telling you, it's Aaron Rodgers is playing very well, and Devontae Adams is that guy. And the defense is so. The defense has some steps to take, but when you've got that offense, it's kind of do what you please. So you have to go with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay against Taylor Heineken. He's not that good. He's another one of those quarterbacks that had like a 250-yard night with a touchdown and no interceptions. And ESPN tweeted like the eye emojis, and everyone blew up about him. He's not that good, guys. There's a reason he went undrafted, and he has bounced around to like 3 or 4 different NFL teams. He's not that good. And I just wish Chris Land was here because this is a Super Bowl pick, and they're about to lose yet another game.
Well, listen, Chris Land did in fact pick the Washington Racisms to go to the Super Bowl at the beginning of the season. LOL at that. But here's the thing, okay? Where are we, Jordan? Give us an update on the saga of Tua to the Redskins. Racisms.
Thank you. That was what I was about to say. So I don't have any updates other than what I've been seeing from the check marks on Twitter. And from what I heard, it started as it was going to be Watson to the Dolphins, Tua to the Skins, and to the Sisms, and a bunch of picks in between. A bunch of picks in between. And now the check marks are saying that the Sisms have never liked Tua. They didn't like him coming out. They didn't like him.
Who did besides
playing.
Miami?
I liked him in that championship game where he threw that touchdown. I was like, oh, the Vikings should draft him in 3 years. And then the draft started happening, and I was like, oh, he might be the third best QB in that draft, if not worse. So I don't know. I think that there's a few teams that are going to. I think right now it's Houston and Miami talking a lot, and then the third team is just kind of there to take Tua on. I know I haven't heard this, but I know Josh mentioned before the show, like, hey, maybe Seattle should get in on that if they want to try and salvage this season. Get in on that. Tua, I will say, Tua is better than Geno. So I don't know, but rumor has it. It's happening this week.
Here's what I think is the reality here. I think that Miami is a place that Deshaun Watson will willingly go. I think that Houston is not interested in Tua. So in order for this to work, they've got to find somebody that's willing to play ball for them to get what they want. I think Deshaun Watson is probably in the front office in Houston saying, I'm going to raise hell unless it's a place I want to go. And they've identified Miami as an acceptable target. I mean, LeBron went there. They have no state income tax. I get it, right? And you could be a guy that turns around a franchise. I get the appeal for Deshaun Watson. I think it's going to be interesting, though. I don't think there's too many teams that are willing to play ball. And I think Tua's going, because of the nature of this trade, I think Tua's going to be too expensive of a target for any team realistically to come in. I don't think he's good enough for any team to roll the dice on him as a starter, like their future starting quarterback. But I think he's too expensive for anybody to bring him in as a backup.
If you were the Steelers, would you consider the trade?
No.
Would you take Tua over Big
No,
Ben
and
this
here's
deal?
why. Because the rumor is, and all the check marks on Twitter have agreed, the rumor is that the Steelers is the preferred landing spot for Aaron Rodgers next year.
I believe I
would say
mentioned that
no.
in week 1. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
No,
I
you
mentioned
did.
that
I mean,
in
who?
week 1.
But look, I'm just saying this year, it's the Steelers. I think they have 2 wins. They're like 2-4. I think it might be a little late because that's
But
tough
why?
to come back from.
If you're a team getting Tua and you're giving up draft picks, why? Just for a guy for a half a season? There's no point.
You might be getting some draft picks. We don't know if
Denver.
the third team might not be giving up a ton of draft picks.
Denver Denver. Think about Denver.
Denver would make
Denver's a
sense,
good-
but then
Denver's a
again,
good option.
what do you get with Tua that you don't get with Teddy Bridgewater?
A longer
Two
term
gloves.
working. Yeah. Well, no, yeah, that is true.
The other way around, but still. So you see, yeah. So there's a lot going on here, but I'm gonna make my pick really quick. I think this is pretty easy. I think Green Bay is looking to make a statement and try to solidify themselves as one of the best teams in the NFC. I think Green Bay wins this game. Josh, what do you got?
I go Green Bay, but I think it's closer than people think this game's going to be. I think Washington, I don't know why, but I think Washington keeps it closer than people think. And part of the reason.
So
their
you
defense,
think Washington potentially covers at 6.5 points, or what is it?
8? I thought it was 8.
8 points. What do I have here? I
think you said 6.
I have
Oh,
8
okay.
points. 8 points.
Yeah, 8 points is a lot in the NFL. We talk about the Bengals and Ravens game being a big spread at 6.5. Like 8 points is a lot. I mean, I don't think Washington's great. I don't think Taylor Heineke or whatever his name is, Tyler Heineke. I don't think he's great.
Taylor Sherbert.
Whatever his name is. But Green Bay's banged up, and it hasn't hit him yet. But like somebody's gonna expose them. I don't think it's gonna be Washington, but somebody's gonna start exposing them. And if Washington can run the ball against Green Bay and get a couple stops and put some pressure on old Buck Rogers, Washington could sneak away with a win. But I'm going to take Green Bay in the picks, but I think I think Washington covers.
When I say people need to stop sleeping on Green Bay because of week 1, yeah, I'm speaking directly to my father and Josh, because every week they say if the Vikings lose and Green Bay's not world beaters, they got blown out by the
We
Saints.
watched Green Bay play the Bears last week and struggle against the Bears, and
and the Bears have a good defense. They still won by 2 possessions.
Yeah, he did say I still own you, which was a great clip, by the way. I love it.
There's a chick with the double birds.
Well, listen, don't flip off Aaron Rodgers and he won't look at you and say, I still own you.
Hey, I was glad to see the discount double check come back.
He did. That was a little more. That was a little more than a double check. That was
he wasn't going for the WWE title though. He was going AEW. He was getting big belts.
Yeah, that was a big.
Ship, what do you got on this one for us, brother?
All right, so I don't know if you also noticed that Congress came out this week and demanded that Roger Goodell provide documentation on the Washington football team's culture that they have been investigating.
Yeah, Dan Snyder's
then.
about to lose that team, by the way.
Exactly, with
That
Bruce
team's about to go.
Allen, the emails, and so they were actually sent to then Washington football president Bruce Allen at the time. So I know that those are going to be coming. And we'd always talk about distractions, so that's why I bring that up. That could have played. So you talk about week 1, and we'll bring it up. So Green Bay scored 3 points. They had 229 total yards, 43 rushing touchdowns, or 43 rushing yards. Since weeks 2 through 6, they are 5-0, averaging 28 points a game, 366 yards total. 122 yards rushing with Dillon and Jones, and they're 46% on third downs. Washington is on pace. When we thought this defense was going to be somewhat of a great success, they are fucking terrible. They're going to be the 5th team in the last 40 seasons to allow 30-plus points a game and 400 yards per game. By the way, all 4 prior teams fired their head coach following that season. Actually, during or after that season, they fired the head coach. Now, Ron Rivera, I don't know. I mean, feel good story. Glad to be cancer. But right now, you can't coach yourself out of a wet paper bag. So the football team, they're 4-11 versus non-divisional opponents. You talk about Devontae. Devontae actually has a 92.4 offensive grade this season. That is the highest by any skill player at all.
He's the best in the league right now, folks.
He's going to go off against this trash team. Give me Green Bay.
So here's the question I have, because obviously we brought up a hot topic this week. We're not going to dive into it again on this show. We kind of avoided the conversation last week. So John Gruden last week, old emails come back to haunt him. Some things going on with the Washington franchise. I just have this question, and then we're going to move on, and I want the viewers at home to think about this. If the NFL can locate quickly and accurately emails from head coaches from 11 years ago when they weren't employed by the NFL, why can't the federal government find Hillary's emails?
Oh boy.
And moving on. Next game on the docket.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Next game on the docket. Tennessee versus Kansas City. This, I think, is the only option or the only shot of a game that could potentially be a better game than the Bengals-Ravens game. What do we think here, gentlemen?
I'll start. I think Derrick Henry runs all over Kansas City. He had a big game last week. Also have him in fantasy ship, in case you were wondering, and he won me the game.
Too.
So I've got him in a couple of leagues, but he actually won that game for me by putting up a whopping 58 points against the Bills. I was a little nervous because we talk about Buffalo having one of the best defenses in the league, if not number one statistically. And Derrick Henry did what Derrick Henry does, and Tennessee's defense came up with a stop at the goal line to keep Josh Allen out of there. I'm gonna take Kansas City because I think that the offense is too good, and Tennessee's defense isn't very good. So I'm gonna take Kansas City, but I think Derrick Henry might run for over 250 yards in this game.
It is very difficult to run the ball to 42 points. I'm just saying it's gonna come down, in my opinion, to Tannehill's arm. And I've been I'm switching. So I'm keeping track on my little notebook down here, and I wrote down Kansas City for myself. And the more I think about it, I have to go with Tennessee. Tennessee's the pick for me, just because it's gonna come down to Ryan Tannehill's arm, and he's got weapons. It's not like I don't expect a lick of defense to be played in this game, but I think with Mahomes, he's kind of been. Mahomes isn't playing at an elite level. Mahomes is playing not as great as what we expect. I'm not going to say he's playing poorly, but he's not playing at that, I own the Kansas City Royals because I made $500 million off of this contract level that we expect from him. So I'm going to go with Tennessee because I think that they're going to be able to ball control this whole game away. And eventually Mahomes is going to have to make a tough throw, a risky throw, to keep his team in it. And I think if Tennessee can just get one, if they can win the turnover battle by one, that's enough. That's enough, because I don't think Tennessee's punting in this game.
So Chris took the Chiefs because they're favorited in this game. And I know that the Chiefs are favorited, and I know that the Titans have looked very vulnerable at certain times this year. But I am convinced that Kansas City is on a trajectory towards potentially missing the playoffs entirely. They have looked very, very underwhelming. I know that they still have a lot of the same athletes that they had these last couple of years when they were the best team in the NFL. But again, like we've always said, last year is last year, and if aunts and uncles and all that stuff, right? So, look, Derrick Henry's the best running back in the NFL. I don't know what Kansas City's going to possibly do to contain him. And nobody is better at capitalizing on a team that is laser focused on Derrick Henry than Ryan Tannehill. He's done an exceptional job and been a serviceable NFL quarterback by having a good running game and being good enough to get the job done. He's like an Andy Dalton if Andy Dalton actually was able to finish the job, right? And so I think that Tennessee comes in. I think they've got a big chip on their shoulder from some of the losses that they've had this season. They ride the wave of a win against Buffalo, and they come out and they beat the Chiefs. Buffalo is a lot better than the Chiefs this year, in my opinion. And they beat Buffalo, and it was a hard-fought game, and they stuck it out, and they got a big stop, and they won the game. If they can do that against Buffalo, they can, and I believe they will do that against Kansas City this week.
Tennessee's 4-2, folks, and they lost to the Jets in OT, which, okay, that's probably an ugly loss. And then they lost to Arizona. Who has beaten Arizona?
No one.
No one. The answer is no one. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think we should be so down on Tennessee right now. I think that they're figuring it out.
Yeah, I agree with you. Ship, what do you got for us, bud?
So, look, the big thing you have to look at, remember last week in the game, Tyreek Hill left that game with a quad injury. He was a limited participant in practice today. He didn't practice at all this entire week. So, if you don't get a 100% Tyreek Hill, is a 60% Tyreek Hill better than no Tyreek Hill is the question, with Mecole Hardman and Pringle. Is it Pringle, like the can? Yeah, it's Pringle. And Kelsey, and then you've got Darrell Williams. So it's kind of up in the air. But
I thought I saw Kelsey was out in this game.
Travis Kelsey was a full participant in practice this week. He was limited on Wednesday and Thursday, full practice. Tyrann Mathieu was a full practice today. It looks like right now Anthony Hitchens is going to be out. Jody Fortson, one of the backup tight ends, is going to be out. But for the Titans, it's interesting because you look at it. Taylor Lewan, the tackle, he's out still for concussion. He's not going to play. Chester Rogers is going to be out with a groin. Monty Rice, a linebacker, he's out with a groin. Roger Saffold, the guard, kind of interesting. He was a full participant this week, so he could be back for the offensive line. Amani Hooker will be back for a DB. So stats, I mean, Derrick Henry is on pace for 2,219 yards, which would be a record. To also include 28 touchdowns this season. He has more rushing touchdowns. You want to guess than how many teams? We'll play that guess game. How many teams do you think he has more
15.
rushing yards than?
13.
22.
Nate wins the golden prize because he is the closest. He has more rushing yards than 26 other teams.
My God.
Jesus Christ.
Mhm. I
Listen,
told you.
he hit like a top speed of like 21.9 miles an hour on that run. That
Not faster than Daniel Jones.
that 75-yard run.
Don't
And
forget the yard.
the fact that he runs so fast and he's so big is terrifying.
Madden
Have you ever
literally
seen-
had
there's
to
a
add
training
an-
video. There's a training video of him at practice, and all he is doing is practicing stiff arms. Somebody grabbing for his leg, and he's literally pushing their head down. And he's not
Not
doing full
dummies.
speed.
Not dummies.
It's
No,
Other real people.
They were
Stand-ins.
using they were using boomsticks, and he said, "I don't like this. It doesn't feel real." So he had
No.
actual people, and their jobs will dive at our star running back's legs. Madden, EA had to add animations to their game because of how violent this man is
They have-
on a football field.
Madden
Like,
has an attribute point that you can put on Derrick Henry that gives you more powerful animations for trucks and stiff arms. And they are very animated and it looks real to Derrick Henry.
So look, I'll wrap this up. The interesting thing, the Chiefs have 3 losses this season. Those teams are a combined 13-5 this season. All 3 of them are division leaders: Baltimore, Chargers, Buffalo. So when they lose to good teams. So I like that AJ Brown will be back. I don't see Julio in the injury, so he's good. He was a limited participant actually in practice. AJ's full, so I like having that offense back. What fucks me up is the pass that Patrick Mahomes throws. Like, he doesn't even care. He just throws it to throw it. Plus, I hate his brother now. I'm going to let you know that now. I hate his brother because he's disrespectful to NFL history. So give me Tennessee.
I've realized one thing on this show tonight, that Ships has a lot of hatred in his heart.
Yeah.
Lots of
And I'm getting ready to go to Carolina Beach for a week. I got a conference to go to, and
Is it a hatred conference?
Kind
no,
of.
it's not a hatred conference. Hatred caused a lot of this stuff. But no.
Yeah. So, all right. So your pick is
Oh, Tennessee.
my man. All right.
Ooh, we're split. Ooh.
All right,
a little
so-
split there.
So 3 Tennessees and a Kansas City.
2
Interesting.
Kansas Cities.
Yeah, well, it's just math.
Yeah,
and
we only
I
got
can't-
5 people, man.
I
It's
can't-
just math.
I can't
It's
do
just
it.
math.
Yeah,
I can't
but
do
I mean,
it, right?
A Kansas City would indicate 1.
Anyway, next game,
Is it a
Miami,
gaggle of Kansas
Atlanta.
Cities?
Atlanta's 2.5 favored on the road. Jordan, who do you got?
Oh man, Atlanta is they're getting a little hot streak. Kyle Pitts is starting to play football like he should. So I'm going to go with Atlanta almost on the flip of a coin because I don't like what Miami's doing. I think that maybe they'll can't not hear the rumors that are flying around right now about how they're trying to replace their quarterback. What does that do to a team's morale? And what does that do to, Jalen Waddle, who's like, I got Tua throwing me the ball this week. Who the hell's throwing it to me next week? So I'm going to go with Atlanta in this one. And it's probably going to bite me in the ass because I think I said a month ago that
I'm gonna
every
go
time I pick
second
them,
here, and I'm taking Miami because every time Jordan picks Atlanta, they shit the
it's
bed.
a good bet. It's a good bet.
So, actually, I'm not. I'm actually taking Atlanta. I watched a Miami team play against Jacksonville last week and looked terrible. You can't lose to Jacksonville. I get it's in London, but I'm going to take Atlanta. I like what they're doing with Cordell Patterson in the backfield as a running back. Sorry to all those Mike Davis fantasy owners out there, but Patterson's just eating it up now. So give me Atlanta in this. Like Jordan said, this is a coin toss game for me, but I'm gonna stick with the Dirty Birds here.
Interesting. Ship.
Okay, so we're the most realist, outspoken Facebook NFL show out there, correct?
Yes.
So my mindset is, if I'm Tua, how do I feel when I'm at Alabama and I have crosses on my face, kind of like Tebow, and they're looking to replace me with a sexual predator? How would you think you would feel when they want to get rid of me for a massage guy who just loves massages?
You can say it, the Robert Kraft of NFL
The
quarterbacks.
Robert, exactly. Thank you. I was looking for the analogy. I just didn't come to mind. So, I'd be a little pissed. I got Jalen. I used to play with him, man. We're doing good. I got Gesicki. He's a good tight end. I like Gesicki. But Brian Flores is a trash coach. I'm sorry. I don't like him.
Oof.
The offense is ranked 28th. The defense is ranked 30th. They have the 31st ranked rushing. By the way, Atlanta Falcons, third best defense in the league. Top 5 defense. Underrated defense at that. Cordero Patterson, you mentioned it. He's the only player in the NFL with 100-plus rushing yards, 250 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns this season. He has 100-plus scrimmage yards in 3 straight games. The Dolphins, by the way, have scored more than 20 points only once this season, and that was in the OT loss to Vegas. I picked Jacksonville because Miami's trash until they change the whole outlook. But until Watson comes over there, they're going to be 1-6. Give me a 3-3 next week, Atlanta Falcons.
Miami, another example of my pound the table. Defenses do not translate year to year. Miami's defense was really good last year, and Ship the Stat Man just demolished the whole ideal that they were a good defense this year. So, just saying.
Yeah, I'm
That's
going
why I see
Atlanta.
Alabama
I don't
now.
have much to add that you guys haven't touched on. I think the biggest thing here, I don't think the Tua stuff matters as much as the fact that the Dolphins are a really bad football team. And Atlanta's really bad also, but they're defensively strong enough that they'll win games because of that. I'm going Atlanta here. So we're Atlanta across the board there, gentlemen. With that being said, the next game on the docket, we've got what I think is going to be an interesting game, but I think it's an easy pick, and I'll start by picking it. We've got the Patriots at home against the Jets. Zach Wilson has looked awful for the Jets. The Patriots are a 7-point favorite in Gillette Stadium. Ship, what is the Patriots' record at home in Foxborough when they're favored?
Hang on. I gotta pull that one up.
Okay, so while he does
Go ahead,
that,
you talk.
I don't see any chance that the Jets pull off this upset. This one's obvious. I'm going Patriots here.
Yeah, Bill Belichick versus rookie quarterbacks. I said that the first time they played, and he picked Zach Wilson off 4 times. I will say Zach Wilson is starting to play better than what he did in his first month of football. So he's getting better, which you would hope to see out of a rookie. You would hope that, he struggles early because he's a rookie, and then, he gets better. I think all the rookies are slowly starting to look promising. I still like Zach Wilson. I'm not going to be all the way out on him quite yet. But I just can't. The Patriots are another team where it's like they're like 5 plays away from having a positive record and maybe challenging, whoever's on top of that. No, not the Bills. They'd be challenging for a wild card spot. But the record is what it is. But the Jets
aren't the Bills 4-2?
Yeah, but do you think they're gonna?
So
stay
if the
in that
Patriots were
range
3-3, they're one game out. I'm just saying. It's just math.
Okay, well, maybe, but challenging and being a game out are 2 very different things.
Sure.
So I'm gonna go with the Patriots because of the old Belichick versus rookies. He doesn't lose to them.
Yeah. Chris Land takes the Patriots as the favorites as well. Go ahead, Ship.
I can't find that stat. I've been looking, but
Let me. I'll tell it to you because I know it. The New England's record in Foxborough when they're favored is really, 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 really good. That's the stat. They're going to win this game. Go ahead, Ship.
Okay, there you go. So, does anybody want to take a crack at the record of rookie quarterbacks versus Bill? I think I brought it up.
I think we do this every week because he's played so many rookie quarterbacks.
Would you like to guess what it is?
No, I want you to tell me.
Does somebody else want to guess? Like, come on, it's no
Jordan,
fun when I
appease
do it.
him. Guess.
I'm just gonna guess the win total is under 7 because I don't know how many he's played. He's coached for a long time, so I mean, like
So-
that's a big
So let me do this. What are rookie quarterbacks' records on the road versus the Patriots?
under 5.
Yeah.
Lower.
Under.
They are 0-12
Oh my
Oof.
god!
since 2000 in the Bill Belichick era versus the Patriots. They have never won a game. So,
Are you going to buck that trend? Is the question.
oh hell no, fuck that. No, Patriots win. They actually looked halfway decent against Dallas, and I was very surprised when they, I was happy when my boy Trayvon, great little pick 6 there to get us back in the game in the fourth
And then
quarter.
immediately gave up like a 75-yard touchdown.
Okay, I'm trying to Dallas fan. You were talking about what the Vikings did against Carolina in overtime. I'm talking about what Dallas did in overtime. So just appease me, dickhead. So look, Mac Jones has the highest completion percentage and passer rating among rookie quarterbacks this season, and he is the only one with more passing touchdowns and interceptions. I like J.C. Jackson. He's a good corner. He's got an interception in 3 straight games. That's the longest streak. Patriots had 4 takeaways in week 2 against the Jets. We talked about it. They had 4 takeaways combined in the 5 other games. By the way, top 10 defense for the Jets. They're ranked 6th overall in defense.
Imagine that.
Yeah, they've only scored a whopping 13 points, though, in the first half of the season. No team has scored fewer than 30 such points entering week 7. So the Patriots have won 11 straight games versus the Jets, which is the longest streak by either team in matchup history. New England has outscored the Jets, by the way, 324 to 120. New England.
Josh.
New England. I don't really have a lot to say about this game. Just New England.
Fair enough. So it's New England across the board. Next game should be fairly easy. I'll start. The Rams host the Lions. The Lions are due, but honey, it ain't going to be this week. I promise you. The Rams win. But here's the thing. 16.5 points is the spread. Okay, 16.5 points is the spread. I don't think I'd touch that spread with a 29-foot pole because that's risky. There's a lot that could happen. And I could easily see the Lions keeping it closer for no reason at all. So I'm not going to touch the spread on this game, but I do like the Rams to hold strong against the Lions.
So this, like I said, and Jordan and Josh were both listening to this before we started. When I played the little TikTok of Stafford coming back to Detroit or playing Detroit for the first time, not wearing that blue uniform, and I believe he is going to go out there and destroy the Lions. You have a coach in Dan Campbell who basically said, my quarterback is a piece of shit and needs to step up. He needs to do more. He needs to put more on his shoulders. He's not pulling his weight on this team. And obviously, if you say that, now Jared Goff's going to get his feelings because he's a West Coast guy. He had the luxuries out there. And you've got somebody that's hard-headed like Dan Campbell that's saying, look, you want to be my quarterback? We're trying to turn shit around here. The way you're playing is not helping. You throw for 200-something yards like QB said earlier. That's not going to cut it. And you're going against Aaron Donald, who's averaging 2 sacks versus the Lions. That's the most versus any opponent. DeAndre Swift is the only player, positive to have 200-plus rushing yards this year. That's it. Matthew Stafford has a higher passer rating as a Rams quarterback than Jared Goff did with Sean McVay as a head coach. You talk about possible sleeper pick MVPs, get the Rams to NFC Championship. You might be looking at a guy like that. Cooper Kupp. Jared Goff has never won a start without Sean McVay, by the way, in case you're wondering. He was 42-20 under McVay. Apparently he doesn't like Dan Campbell or Jeff Fisher because he was a combined 0-13. So give me the Rams because Detroit's going 0-7. And you know what? I'd take 21 points in this game. There's no way it's close.
Chip, you took too much time with the stats because this game is easy and done. It's the Rams. I agree. I know that's a big spread. I wouldn't bet it personally, but for the sake of entertainment value, damn it, you have to hammer that because God, Matt Stafford I don't know. This experiments went really well for him.
Do it for Megatron.
Yeah, like it's for Calvin and it's for Sandals and it's for, all those wasted years of, elite playoffs.
Matt Stafford is proving what we've speculated for years, that if he got into the right team and the right system from his rookie season, he's a potential Hall of Fame caliber quarterback. I think that ship has long sailed. He's way too old to turn this around. But listen, Matt Stafford is really, really good, even still. And as much as I hate Matt Stafford because he's a Georgia Bulldog, as much as he's went through and persevered throughout his career, I wouldn't be upset to see him get a ring. It would be well-deserved. Josh, what do you think?
I think fuck Mike Stafford. That's what I think. I hate that guy. I'll be surprised if he's not hurt by the end of the year because he's injury prone. I'm going to take the Rams because I'm not an idiot.
You don't want to do a Nate and just pick the Lions?
Listen, I did that last week because I thought there was going to be an upset, okay? And realized I was in second to last place. So, yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. Not until I'm up.
Listen, I'd be a game closer if it wasn't for Justin Tucker being the greatest kicker in NFL history.
Hook 'em horns, baby. Hook 'em horns.
How they looking? Daniel Ship has left the chat.
I'm gonna take LA. LA's pretty good this year, and Detroit's not. So I would love to see Detroit. I'll be happy to hold an L here. I'd love to see Detroit beat them, but I don't think this is happening this week, guys. This ain't the game.
So
final thoughts on this game have to be just that Daniel Ship is not gonna let me hear the end of it if Dallas beats Minnesota.
I got a question for everybody though. What is the crowd's reaction to Stafford coming back?
Chills.
I think it's positive. Absolutely.
I think it's positive as well because he got traded. He didn't walk out free agency.
But that's the thing, is that this game is in LA. It's not in Detroit.
I thought it was in Detroit.
they're going to boo Jared Goff clean out of that state.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
The only positive Detroit has right now is they're inducting Chris Spielman into the Detroit Ring of Honor on the 31st. That's the only positive thing I can find so far.
Huh.
Go slurp on that, Lions
That's going to be a boring game. Not interested in watching that one.
So next game on the docket, and Chris Land learned from his ways last week because he picked them to lose, and they won. So he's going to pick the Raiders this week. They're 3-point favorites at home against Philly. Josh, what do you think about this one?
I like the Raiders because as much as I hate the Green Bay Packers, I hate the Philadelphia Eagles even more. I'm not a Philly guy. Still not sold on Hurts. So give me Derek Carr. That offense looked good last week. They were humming. I picked up Derek Carr in fantasy, and he came through for me. So I'm gonna take the Raiders in this one.
Taking the Raiders, huh?
My camo froze up and I realized it. So we're back to bad quality. But I
nice filter. It's kind of like a ambiance kind of sunset flowers.
It kind of looks like 720p in a basement. In my opinion, but because it's almost like that's what it is. But you got to go with Vegas. But I think the story here, it's not Derek Carr, Henry Ruggs, and those guys. I think the story is the defense is going to cause havoc for Philadelphia because Jalen Hurts is still just a one-lead guy, and Josh Jacobs is going to have a similar performance to what Zeke did to Philadelphia, and it's kind of going to be on the ball at will. And Josh Jacobs hasn't really had that game to establish himself as one of the better running backs in the league. So I think this is that week where we all kind of wake up to Josh Jacobs.
I don't agree with what you guys are saying. I think that the Raiders are a bad team getting worse. I think Philly's not a great team, but I think Philly has propensity to win some close games. I think this is going to be one of them. Philly's going to have a tough time with the Raiders defense, but I think that the Raiders offense is going to have just as tough a time scoring. I don't think they're consistent on offense. I think Derek Carr is obviously the better of the two starting quarterbacks, but the Raiders have not been consistent either. This is honestly a game that if it was possible for both of them to lose, they would. But I gotta go Philly this one. I think that Philly has got. Philly needs to win. Philly needs to win this game really, really badly. So I'm going Eagles. Ship.
There's no way Philly wins this game. And I say that because Derek, in the situation he was in last week, looked very comfortable against a very formidable Denver defense. And I just don't. Who the hell did the Eagles even play last week? I don't even remember. Who did they play? Did they even play last week, or they had a bye week? No,
Eagles,
they played Tampa Bay on the Thursday game.
Yeah,
they played Tampa.
yeah, and they ran, and listen, they ran Tampa Bay close. I mean, it was 22-28. I mean, so
Game was
Brady
not
gave up
close.
halfway through. He's like, no,
That game was not that
because
close.
I mean, I listen, I understand that, but you could get mollywopped for 3 quarters, and if you score more points at the end of the game, you win. So
Listen, if you're running a cover, if you're running a cover 4 or a prevent defense, and you just let them pick you apart underneath and go down the field and score a touchdown when you're up 14, who cares?
Yeah.
You still win the game.
Man up 3 deep.
Correct. That's all they're
Yeah.
running. Just don't let them beat us over the top and score a touchdown. And
we'll see.
Okay. All right. We will see.
I don't even. You know what? Screw it, because Nate's high as a kite tonight. So Raiders win, just so he'll be the lone one. Because fuck the Eagles, just like the Giants.
Nathan said somebody has to pick a really, really bad game like Chris Land did last week. So he's going to try, and he's already picked Cincy and Philadelphia. And I think those are 2 losses personally, but
that could potentially move him back to last.
it could very well could.
Yeah,
But we'll see. Like
very well
the games still have to be played. The games still have to be played.
Next on the list, Tom Brady hosting the Bears. Tampa's 12-point favorites at home. I'm gonna start. Justin Fields is trash. Tom Brady is the GOAT. Tampa Bay. Chris Land agrees.
I'll go second. Tampa Bay.
Game for the Fields to win. This could be one of those games. They could sneak in, and Tampa Bay is not a good offense, and Chicago's a decent on a.
Tom Brady's got an injury right now.
And did you just say Tampa Bay's not a good?
Ladies and gentlemen at home, they all got muted because they suck and they forget that I have the ability to do that, and they can't even hear what I'm saying.
To disrespect Tom Brady.
He is hurt right now.
He was hurt all of last year, and he won the damn Super Bowl.
He's still hurt right now. So,
by the way, he's got more passing yards this season than he did in his first 6 games of any MVP season.
He hit a top speed of his NFL career like 2 weeks ago. He's Benjamin buttoning everything. The question about this game isn't does Tampa Bay win? The question is, has Tom Brady had plastic surgery?
I saw people
So here's
call
the
him
fun
like
one. So I did it with Bill Belichick. So remember, rookie quarterbacks on the road versus the Patriots 0-12. What are rookie quarterbacks against Tom Brady since 2014?
1-12.
Oh, and
How many games have been
14.
played?
They are 0-9 against Brady. Would you like to guess who the last quarterback to beat Brady as a rookie was before 2014?
Russell Wilson.
Matt Stafford.
He now quarterbacks for the Seattle Seahawks now.
Geno Smith when he was with the Jets just before he punched that guy in the math.
In the what?
In the math.
Math.
In the math.
Yeah, it's how Pittsburgh people say it.
Hey, in case you guys, here's the college reference, by the way. This is the 5th NFL matchup since 1950 between a starting quarterback from Michigan and a starting quarterback from Ohio State. Michigan quarterbacks are 3-1 in those matchups. So I guess
Make it 4-1.
Yeah, for
4-1.
sure.
Yeah, 4-1 for sure.
That's a fun stat. I like the fun stats more than the practical ones.
Yeah, I find some different ones.
Jordan, Josh, you agree?
Yeah.
Tampa Bay's winning this game.
Notice
Bub.
Nate didn't
I'm
pick
waiting for you to
Chicago.
take Chicago.
Giselle
thought
could
the-
start at quarterback for Tampa this game.
I don't
What
think
was some of those? What were some of those European football teams when they had the NFL Europe teams? You can pick one of those.
I don't think Justin Fields could beat off with KY, let alone the Buccaneers with Tom Brady.
The question
so.
is, do the 2001
Justin Fields beat the
XFL
Bengals.
does
He
the
did no such thing.
2001
He beat the Bengals.
XFL LA Extreme beat the Chicago Bears this week?
No,
They beat
but
the Bengals.
Justin Fields did beat the Bengals.
Justin Fields did beat the Bengals.
Joe Burrow threw 4 straight interceptions in that. Or was it 3?
3.
I think it
3
was
straight picks.
Three.
Three throws, 3 picks. Never seen it.
So, next game.
I might say that
Gosh,
Justin
he's
Fields
better than
outplayed Joe
Herbert.
Burrow in that game.
Yeah, I mean, you could say Justin Fields is possibly better than Herbert, then, which would make him better than Burrow.
Does Joe Burrow have a decision-making problem?
I think the fact that I let you three assholes on this show with me every week shows that I have a decision-making problem. Next game, Arizona at home hosting the Houston Watsons.
Listen,
It's an
I think
18-point spread. Make it quick.
I think
think
Houston could get right in this game, and they could really come up and upset the Arizona Cardinals. But I don't think it happens. So I'm going to take Arizona with the 18 points, and I think that they cover.
That was the stupidest take I've ever heard you say. But go ahead.
That was a bad shtick. That was a bad shtick, Josh.
Wah, wah, wah.
I'm going to be like Nathan.
If I think this is one of those
If
ones.
you want to be like me, pick the correct teams. Don't
Nathan,
do
you
stupid
should have gotten
shit.
a gavel and just said, if anyone objects to Arizona across the board, please speak your piece now. And
No,
when
I
one
want to
said
give you guys an
anything,
opportunity to make yourself look like idiots by trying to make fun of me. It's fine.
There's no way to. There's no making fun. There's no anything. I said it. Even after they beat Jacksonville week 1. Houston's the worst team in the NFL, and they will be for years unless they deal Deshaun and get a bunch of picks. And so far they haven't. So until further notice, Houston's the worst team in the NFL until 2025. Just throwing it out there. It's Arizona big.
It's a little extreme, but I agree with you. I think Arizona wins this game big. Chris Land picked Arizona as well. Ship, you got anything for us here?
I'm looking through trying to find something fun. The most recent last undefeated team to win the Super Bowl, by the way. You want to play my trivia game again? Guess the team, guess the year.
Was it the Saints 2009?
The last undefeated team to win the
Close
Super Bowl
year.
was the Dolphins.
No. Listen, it's just math. The last undefeated team. They're the last standing undefeated team right now. Right?
Okay.
So who was the last standing undefeated team?
Pittsburgh in 2010. Oh, Green Bay in 2010.
Going the wrong way. 2006 Colts, by the way. They started 9-0. They finished 12-4, won the Super Bowl.
Beat
that was
Chicago.
The most recent, longest standing undefeated team. So, by the way, Davis Mills, one of 3 quarterbacks the last 5 seasons with 0 wins, but a 75-plus passer rating. The other 2 quarterbacks, by the way, are a guy named Justin Herbert and Kyler Murray. So Davis Mills on the same path as those 2.
Someone in chat, Braden Engel predicts Davis Mills throws for 400 yards and 5 TDs on Sunday.
Wow.
There it is.
There's
I
a
just have
stat.
to say that stat is tainted because the 09 Saints were undefeated with the 09 Colts, and they both lost week 16.
They weren't the last standing.
I'm going back and I'm looking at the exact time that those teams lost in week 17 to see if they really were the last undefeated team.
Fun fact, Arizona added another weapon last week. I don't know if you guys know. They added a guy
Zach
named Zach Ertz. 11% of their targets, Arizona's targets, are to tight ends, which is actually the lowest. So with Max Williams, he was out. So, also, this is a return game. J.J. Watt versus Houston. Another fun one. I predict J.J. Watt will rip the helmet off of him like from Little Giants when the little guy with the goggles squeezed his head down in the shoulder pads so he didn't lose his head.
I thought you were going to say like Myles Garrett.
No. Like Spike. Remember Spike ripped off his helmet in Little Giants? Yeah, and the kid with the rubber suit. So Arizona destroys Houston. I would say, 31-14.
Fair enough. I think we all are on the same page there with Arizona. So that takes us to the Sunday night game. Sunday night game. San Francisco hosting the Colts. San Francisco's a 4-point favorite at home. What do you think, Ship?
So I've ridden that Colts train on 2 picks, and I've been right on both of those. So it looks like Carson's getting a little bit more comfortable. I don't know who's quarterbacking. Is it still Trey Lance? Is he going to be the quarterback?
Trey Lance is hurt. Jimmy G's starting.
So Jimmy G's back. So San Francisco, they're below 500 through 5 games for the 4th time in the Shannon era. They actually won the NFC West and went to the Super Bowl in 2019, and they were actually below 500 to start. Jonathan Taylor, which I do like, he actually joined Edgerrin James as the only player 22 or younger with 1,000 yards rushing and 10-plus rushing touchdowns over 10 games. Any other fun little stat? 49ers are 1-9 at home neutral sites since 2020, by the way. They're terrible at Levi Stadium or Super Bowl area, which obviously they lost. Give me Indianapolis. I like the way they look. Mo Alley Cox, 3 straight games with a touchdown. I like that.
Josh?
T.Y.'s back too. He looked good.
I'll ride that. I'm gonna take the Colts in this as well. I'm not impressed with Jimmy G. I haven't been impressed with San Francisco this year. Regardless of who's playing quarterback. I don't know what it is with San Francisco and running backs that can't stay healthy. But you know, I like the Colts better. Carson Wentz was my early season MVP vote. Obviously, that doesn't happen when you sprain both your ankles and miss a couple weeks. So, but like you said, Chip, I think an Indy team that went into Baltimore and should have beat Baltimore, but kind of collapsed there at the end. I think that they're gonna kind of hand it to the 49ers in this game. So give me Indy.
Yeah, I'll use my one use of the word piggyback to piggyback on that and say that's exactly where I was going with it. Was this is a Colts team that really handled their business against Baltimore. I think that their coaching staff is intelligent in Indianapolis. I think they're just having some bad quarterback luck and also kind of a tough schedule. But I mean, everyone went to bed during that Monday night game because it was a rout until they, Lamar Jackson set an NFL record for most passing yards and highest completion percentage. So I think I'm going with Indy just because what is San Francisco? I don't think anybody knows. They're banged up.
Isn't it a treat? Isn't it the San Francisco
I think San Francisco is a large municipal region on the west coast of the United States, situated on the bay.
They got a bridge where a lot of people jump off of.
What is their offense?
To be fair, that's every West Coast city.
What, to jump off of a bridge?
Yeah.
So Golden Gate Bridge leads in suicides, by the way.
To answer your question, Jordan, what are they? They're a subpar football team with problems because Trey Lance, their quarterback of the future, is hurt. So they're going to have an issue this week. However, to echo what Josh said, I have not seen anything but replace San Francisco with Indianapolis. I've not seen anything from the Colts that's impressed me. I don't think they're really any good whatsoever. I think this is a matchup of two teams that had preseason potential that neither have lived up to. I think it hurts San Francisco's chances with Jimmy G at quarterback. I said it before that if Trey Lance starts for more than 13 weeks this year, he's probably going to end up winning Rookie of the Year. I don't see that as being feasible now with the injuries he's had and the way he's been playing when he has been in. But I gotta be honest with you, I don't think the Colts are any good, like at all. I think San Francisco wins this game. I think it's close. I don't think it's a barn burner. I think it's a boring game. I think it's a poorly played game. I think there's a lot of turnovers probably. But I'm going San Francisco here. And by the way, Chris Land took San Francisco as a 4-point favorite. So, guys, that brings us to our final game of the week.
Ooh.
It is.
You didn't have a lock of the week. Interesting.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Oh.
Don't worry.
Oh, he forgot, and now he's going to make the Monday night game the lock of the week.
No, I didn't. I didn't forget. You don't know my life.
An elephant never forgets.
Josh tells you you're not muted. I tell you you don't have a lock of the week. We're doing really good at this show.
Easy. Well, here's the thing. You guys could hear me. They couldn't at home. Just like when you guys were all being shitty to me, I muted all of you fuckers for about 10 seconds and talked on my own to the people watching.
We were being shitty to Joe Burrow, and you just happened to think
I don't care.
Christ.
I'm like
he is Jesus reincarnated.
I'm like the guy on Around the Horn. I can hit the button and it makes all of you shut up. I'm gonna get a big red button that says shut up.
Silver Thunder's trash, and we'll talk football.
For shame.
Jesus wouldn't have knee problems. That's all I'm saying.
Listen. There are plenty of respectable men who have knee problems. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's why you like him so much. You see yourself in him.
Don't you talk? Yes, there are many similarities between myself and Joe Burrow.
I softballed that right one in there.
That was a
Just
good
lob
alley-oop,
that
Nate.
one in for you.
I'm just waiting for Nate to make more TikToks copying other people's shtick. So let's continue on.
Yeah. Oh,
Nate,
wait.
play
Hold on.
play the butthole TikTok right now.
The what? Oh, are we?
The butthole
Do we want? Hold on.
TikTok.
Do we want to see our Silver Thunder dad fact of the week here?
Oh, so he did steal the dude's stick. Okay.
Hold on.
That's good.
Hold on.
Is this copyright? I feel like this is copyright.
That man 100% could sue him for copyright.
No, he
infringement.
couldn't.
I'm telling you.
I'm in Florida.
I'm in Texas.
I'm in Ohio. Hey, did you know that everyone has the same number of folds and ridges on their anus? 35. But the variation in color and size means that your anus is as unique to you as your fingerprint? Now you do.
Just saying. That's your
copyright infringement.
That's your dad fact of the week. And listen, no one's bringing the hard hitting facts like you, boy. That's all I'm saying.
You gotta stop saying fact.
No.
That's a stat, boy. That is the stat of the year for this show. I don't care what.
Everyone has the same number of folds and ridges on your anus, and it's 35.
I have a question. If I get one of those chocolate molds of my butthole and you finish last, will you eat it?
If I make a chocolate clone of Willie.
You gotta wrap the devil's
If I make a chocolate, if I make a chocolate imprint of my asshole and you finish last, will you eat it?
Yes.
Pull the tape.
One from each of it.
Wait, hold on. Do they make it by pouring the hot chocolate straight onto your ass and then taking?
You make it. You make it at home.
No.
How do I make it?
No, Josh makes it by heating up a Hoshi's bow and taking a swat. Nothing long when we talk about chocolate assholes.
He leaves it. He leaves it in his pocket and sits down, and then gets up an hour later, and it's just, hey, look at this.
Will you please start introducing Josh? Like Chris Land is Chris Land, the credit card man. Ship is the stat man. I don't know, fat guy McSqueezy, and then Josh is now the chocolate asshole.
No, I'm not gonna say that.
You're a bastard.
Sorry.
I'm 100% doing that though. I'm googling it when we hang up on the show.
Yeah, there's a kit. There is a kit you can buy.
Listen,
Kenzie, we gotta make an imprint on my butthole.
Here's a question that I have though, and real quick before we get into the last game, I want your guys' takes on this. So you can go. There are many types of cosmetic surgeries, right? You can get a brow lift, a tummy tuck. Some people go and they get their anus bleached. I want to know why the medical term for that procedure isn't called changing your ringtone.
I hate you. You're fucking dumb.
You just ruined your next TikTok. There you go,
Get
bro.
to the last game, please.
One game left. Come on.
So,
it's Geno versus Jameis. Come on.
So finishing, we have the elite quarterback matchup of the century in the Monday night game. Seattle at home. Geno Smith filling in for an injured Russell Wilson. I actually think he pulled a hammy twerking on Sierra, and the Saints are coming to town. Minus 4.5 on the road. What do we think, gentlemen? And by the way, last game, last thoughts of the evening.
I'll kick it off. Okay, go ahead, Chip.
So look, Seattle has the I don't know how do I put this, the worst defense in the league overall. When I tell you
statistically,
worst,
or that's your opinion?
No, I think Kansas City's worse.
No, I'm looking at it, and they are ranked 32nd out of 32.
Yeah, Kansas City's defense is getting better.
They're 31, I believe, out of 32. So whatever you want to call it.
They're not last.
The rushing defense is all the way up at 27 now, boys.
Anyways.
That goes back down after next week, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Saints have the fourth best defense. I don't know. The Seahawks are allowing 400 yards a game. And I mean, I don't expect that from Jameis. But do I expect that? Is DK the same without Russell? I mean, you don't even have Carson. I don't even know what the injury list looks like.
While you pull that up, let me just say DK Metcalf's a little bit too worried about calling Shannon Sharp, one of the greatest NFL tight ends to play the game, old ass and a bum on Twitter, than he is like, I don't know, maybe passing the ball around with your quarterback that just signed with the team.
To be fair, it annoys me when people like Shannon Sharp, who are now journalists, never mind, this has nothing to do with his career. He's an NFL journalist, and he wants to sit here and take pot shots at players and expect these players who have the same equal and free access to the social media with bigger spheres of influence than someone like Shannon Sharp. He expects to be able to take a pot shot and not be responded to.
He didn't take a pot shot. He didn't take.
He should have went out of bounds.
He said he should. What was he thinking now? He should have went out of bounds.
But
and he
listen,
fumbled.
we all know the appeal of Shannon Sharp as a journalist is that he's the snarky guy that will say the shit that other people are too professional to say. Like, what the hell's he doing? He should have went out of bounds. Whatever, that type of thing. he cannot expect to dig at a player, regardless of your opinion on where it ranks on the pot shot meter. He can't expect to dig at a player and expect a guy like DK Metcalf, who has certainly earned his ability to defend himself and has proven he's a good player on the field. I got no issue with DK coming back and saying, yeah, whatever.
I don't have an issue with it. My issue with it is Shannon Sharpe said, what's he thinking there? You got to get out of bounds. You can't, risk fumbling the ball there. And then DK responds with, like, you wish you were half as talented as me. DK Metcalf couldn't wear Shannon Sharpe's jock strap.
Now,
Shannon
come
Sharpe
on.
has like 3 Super Bowl rings.
Now, come on.
He's one of the best tight ends to ever play. And I know, DK's fast, though. Obviously, he's a wide receiver. But, like, Shannon Sharpe, like, he's earned the right to be able to question a player's thoughts during a game because he's played in some
Saints.
well,
I picked the Saints.
fuck this pick'em. Who cares? This is
No,
now
hold
the
on,
UK
hold on. We
versus-
did interrupt Ship. So listen, Ship, you're going with the Saints. Do you have any fun stats for us?
Oh, gee, I forgot it was still my turn. By the way, the Seahawks are 11-2 because Jordan likes to hijack people's segments. That's cool. The Seahawks are 11-2 on Monday nights under Pete Carroll, which is the best record since 2010. Jameis has a passing touchdown on 10.3% of his attempts this season.
Next time he comes out as El Viking Lucha, you should put some Dallas Cowboys underwear on your head.
I'm gonna scream into the microphone so nobody can hear him. That's what I'm gonna do.
That's fine. Hey, that's
When you hear the
fine.
most
We
annoying
can not
sound
be
in the world,
entertaining
it's
on the
Jordan
show.
talking.
We can talk about Seattle. We can talk about Seattle's offense since they had Russell Wilson in a game when Russell Wilson isn't playing. Like, tell me Geno Smith's stats on Monday Night Football in his career. That's what I want.
How about this? How about this one? Geno hasn't won a game since Week 17 of 2014. How
There you
about
go.
that one?
There's a stat that matters.
That's the one that matters.
That's the one that matters. New Orleans. Like I said, I'm taking New Orleans. And my final thought is apparently I'm a little angry and hostile tonight, but it's Jordan and Joe Burrow's fault.
Okay.
If by Joe Burrow you mean Nathan, I agree.
There you go. I use
Okay.
code word.
So
Well, hold on.
I got it.
Will you cheer up if all of a sudden you wake up tomorrow or 2 days from now and there's a chocolate mold of my rectum in your mailbox for you to eat? Because then,
If it gets here that quickly, it might melt though if it's that tiny.
to be honest with you, I'm gonna do that so that you can chew on my ass one more time, Ship.
It's fine. When Dallas wins next week, coming off of their bye week, I don't want to hear shit from. Actually, you know what? I will talk pure shit the whole show. Actually.
do.
I'll take
You
it.
What
do
if
anyway.
Dallas loses?
Ship
Oh, you
Ship
then
will no
it's
show.
gonna be bad.
Ship
I
will
won't be on the show that week.
It's
Ship-
gonna be bad.
Ship will get called in to run security at a high school football game again.
I might
Once
show
again,
up as El Viking Cowboy and like rip the mask off and actually like I rubbed the Viking mask on my pants like to simulate an ass wipe. I might actually like wipe my ass with it on air. It will be asshole game.
Now.
Okay.
All right,
Okay,
Josh's turn.
I'm gonna go
Not
next.
better than Tittygate, but go ahead.
No,
That's
not
a
at all.
fact. I'm also taking New Orleans in this because the quarterback matchup is Jameis Winston, and if you haven't heard, Geno Smith. And I've never liked Geno Smith. Whether he's the backup in Seattle, whether he's the starter for the Jets, he's just not a good quarterback. So give me the better quarterback in Jameis, and I think that they cover against Seattle. The only chance Seattle would have is if they can run the ball. But I think Jameis eats in this
Name
game.
what college Gino went to. Do you guys know the college?
West Virginia.
Nice.
Don't come at me with that weak shit.
Don't
I wasn't
know.
talking to you. I wasn't talking to you.
Yeah, it wasn't your turn, Nathan. Wait
It
your
wasn't
turn.
your turn. I was talking to Josh.
Facts.
Are you going to mute us now again?
Yeah.
So we can
mute
talk?
us?
You
Mute
should
us.
mute us so we
You
can have a
goddamn-
conversation
You
again.
goddamn fascist.
Communist over here controlling what people get to do.
Kim Jong Nathan.
Last thought, or final thought of the evening. The football games suck this weekend. Every football game sucks this weekend.
Hey.
Every.
The NFL sucks. Everything sucks this weekend. So the pumpkin patch I'm going to tomorrow sucks. And I haven't even been there. So it sucks. Everything sucks this weekend. Ship's attitude sucks. And when Nathan finishes last at the end of the year, he'll be sucking on a chocolate mold of my butthole.
Stay tuned for that. We're only 10 weeks away. Jordan?
Actually, it'll
So
probably be
I'm,
Chris, but
I
that's fine.
think that Ship was on the right track with this one. The key is how bad Seattle's defense is. It doesn't matter if Chris Land's not here, if Jameis Winston is elite or not. I think this team is going to be good enough to move the ball very effectively against a bad. I mean, Big Ben looked like prime Big Ben. He looked like he was ready to take a woman to the bathroom, and I think that the Saints are going to have.
I
no
told you,
issue
we're the
moving
hardest hitting.
You got to come for
ever.
You got to come for it, but I think the Saints have no issue moving the ball, and Geno Smith's going to struggle a lot against the Saints defense, which I would argue might be the thing that's holding them up at this point in the season. But so I got to go with New Orleans. My final thought, second what Josh said, this is not a great weekend for football. If you're a UC fan, you're probably going to get to watch them blow out the Navy, which will be fun. But other than that, I don't know. The question, and Nathan, this is just for you. This is my alley-oop to you. I mean, if UC beats Navy by 35 or more, and Georgia loses at all, is UC the number one team in the country? They're number 2 right now.
I think by default, yes. I don't know. Oklahoma's still up there.
But in the AP poll, I should say.
Ship, who does Oklahoma have Saturday?
God, I don't care about Oklahoma.
You should.
Is it TCU? Or was that last week?
Is TCU the best team in Texas?
They got the Kansas Jayhawks, who are 1-5.
Kansas.
So look, listen. If Georgia somehow loses, which by the way isn't going to happen, so this is a moot point. If Georgia somehow loses, and
Georgia has a bye week this week, by the way.
My bad.
And then next weekend they play Florida for the biggest, the biggest party or
the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, but they're not allowed to call that anymore, so they call it the Florida. I think they call it LSU. I think they call it the Florida Georgia game. Here's the thing. I'll talk Florida Georgia for just a quick second. Florida's certainly not on Georgia's level this year, but there have been many years where Georgia wasn't on Florida's level. They play each other tough. It's an Auburn Alabama type. We hate you. We're gonna try to. If we do nothing but beat you all season, if we lose every other game, it's still a success, and we still extend the head coach. That's the type of rivalry that this is. I don't expect Florida to keep it close with Georgia, but they could, and if
Florida, did they really lose to LSU?
Yeah. It was a shootout.
Wow. I didn't see that.
Shootout. It was like 42-49. It was a poorly played game on defense by both teams. Florida is spiraling, and as much as I love Dan Mullen, I hope whoever replaces him in 2 years keeps him as the offensive coordinator, but the Bull Gators down there, they're gonna have a hard time keeping him on board.
We we joke around about college football, and we give Nathan shit, and we give Chris Land shit about Florida State or Kentucky. Kentucky and Bama were not 2 bad losses to have on your schedule for Florida, but that LSU loss is kind of
a bad loss. Yeah,
that's a bad loss.
The thing is with Florida is I think Florida's always loaded with talent. It's do they translate it into wins? They did a great job with that under Urban Meyer. They've not done a great job with that before or since. That's kind of been, they've always been talented. There's no question. They always recruit towards the top of the list. So we'll see. But the point is, I think that UC's only trap game is SMU towards the end of the year. And I think that could potentially be a top 15 matchup the way SMU's playing. They're already ranked. They still haven't lost. I think if UC closes out with a big win over SMU, I think we will finally see if the playoffs are what they say they are. If they leave UC out, then we know that they're a scam, just like the BCS was. If they put them in, then maybe they won't be. It's going to be interesting, though. I think this is the year that UC would benefit from the SEC being down and not seeing 2 SEC teams in. Because I think UC would probably be the 2 or 3 seed. So it'd be great to have a matchup against an Oklahoma or an Iowa and not get Georgia right out of the gate and potentially get a shot at the title game. So we'll see. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out this week. We got a couple minutes left here. This game's pretty easy for me. I don't think Geno Smith is worth a flying sack of shit on a football field. I don't think he's been worth one since he played football for West by God, Virginia. Jameis Winston's also terrible, but he's not as terrible. He did win a Heisman. He has won some NFL games. He's been a starter for several seasons in the NFL. New Orleans is going to win this game. It's real simple. Kamara is healthy, right? He's not hurt. Yes, I'm getting a yes. He's healthy. So that's the other difference maker. He's going to be the best player on the field for either team. So the Saints, I know that it's hard to win on the road in Seattle, but it's going to be the Saints, and that's that. So that being said, we're all on New Orleans for that one. Guys, I want to thank
Taysom Hill out.
Taysom Hill out. Doesn't matter.
Concussion.
I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. Can't say the same for Chris. See where his priorities lie.
Hey, did you pay that guy, by the way? The comment that's in there that says you're like a master or something like that. Did you pay him?
I did not. That's Dell Jr. To Dell Jr., I have to say, hey. Anyway, New Orleans across the board for us. For my final thought of the evening, I just really appreciate all the fans and viewers at home who allow us to do this. It's fun, giving us an audience, giving us an excuse to do something other than sit in the basement and yell at the wall, or yell at each other with no one watching. Our viewers make this fun. We appreciate all you guys. So thanks again. Kind of a down week in football, but sometimes you need it. I mean, there's been some gut-wrenching Bengals losses here the last couple of weeks. So I'm not upset to see the Bengals be the only game worth watching this week, because they're sometimes the only game I get to watch anyway. Unfortunately, I will be working on Sunday, so I will be hiding in the back from customers and watching it on my phone. But that being said, guys, thanks again. We will be back. We will be back next week for sure. And with that being said, for Josh down there, for Jordan over there, I still get it wrong, and for Ship down there, I want to say thanks for being here, and we will see you guys next week. Be sure to make sure that you root for the Bengals on Sunday. You have to root for the Bengals. If you don't, then just leave the group. We pull that down. We pull that down, nation. Don't come here with the Baltimore bullshit. Couldn't do it. I'm talking to you. You can leave. Get out of here. He's gone. He's out of here. We'll see you guys next week.